tear until it is done.
We must pray now, brothers. Pray that he is watching.
Please, anyone, if you can hear me, if you're out there.
Attempting to acquire the Hell Priest signal.
Nearly 60% of our planet has been consumed by the invaders.
We have the Hell Priest signal locked in. The target is marked, but the signal will not hold for long.
For it is he that they fear, not man, or his armies. They fear the mark of the beast.
Located the priest signal. I will mark it on your HUD.
My soul remains guarded! You can't...
Has been terminated. The demonic consumption of Earth has been reduced by 36.8%. There are 2 Hell Priests remaining.
against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'm bringing you guys another Doom Eternal video. This one is for completing the campaign mode on Ultra Nightmare. For this you obtain the gold Doom Slayer skin, which is one of the coolest skins in the game. Love that gold. And I want to make this video so if anybody's having a problem out there obtaining this, I have gotten plenty of feedbacks from eBay for helping many people do this, and I would like to help you as well. So I will have all my contact information down in the bottom of the description of the video so I can hopefully help more people get this skin in their collection.
Will not hold for long.
Thanks for watching. Take a look at my other videos for more quick unlocks. Also, like, subscribe, and press that bell notification to stay up to date with every lock that can be broken. Ultra Nightmare. For this you obtain the gold. This one is for completing the campaign mode on Ultra Nightmare. For this you obtain the gold Doom Slayer skin, which is one of the coolest skins in the game. Love that gold. And I want to make this video so if anybody's having a problem out there obtaining this, I have gotten plenty of feedbacks from eBay for helping many people do this, and I would like to help you as well. So I will have all my contact information down in the bottom of the description of the video so I can hopefully help more people get this skin in their collection.
Will not hold for long.
Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, it's Spuddy, and this is my Ultra Nightmare tips video for new people approaching Doom Eternal. Allow you to gain the coveted gold skin because you love gold! Who doesn't, right? So I'm just going to open up one of my old Nightmare saves and we'll look at the mission list here. Now, in the campaign, I find the first 3 levels to be the most intimidating for someone attempting Ultra Nightmare. The reason being, you don't have all your upgrades, you don't have all the suit points at your disposal to make fights a little bit more easier, because you can control fights later in the game a lot better with, say, the ice bomb on your shoulder cannon fully upgraded. Now, just to quickly skim through the list, the first 3 maps will be a hurdle, leading up to Cultist Base being the big challenge of that first 3. There's a lot of tight areas, there's a lot of whiplashes which are fast, you have to lock them down really quickly, but once you get past that, you'll start getting a lot more upgrades in your setup, in your build, that you can work with. I have some tips that I'll go through on my build. Everyone's different. Quick tip to keep the contents per minute flowing: circularies. Always keep moving in a circular fashion, especially when they're tight spaces, alright? That's what an arena fight's all about. Check this out on Art Complex. Let's go through some quick things on controls. Now, you really want to have your controls set up in a way that you can do quick weapon switching, which is just absolutely paramount to killing demons as fast as you can. Now, I come from a Quake background, and generally speaking, your weapon binds are around your movement keys, which is WASD. Now, as you can see here, I've bound my chain gun and ballista to X and Z, which are just under S. T, B, F, G, which you don't switch to a hell of a lot, but that's reachable from D, which is your strafe key. It doesn't require you to move your hand across the keyboard very far. Okay, so just quickly, if we visualize here with the keyboard, right, WASD is right there. Now, if we're using 7, 8, and 9, and 0 to switch to, say, ballista, chain gun, BFG, or whatever, we have to move like that across the keyboard. That is not quick and efficient. However, we're binding to Z, X, Q, E, very efficient. You're just switching like that. Now, I'm very aware that this may be elementary for a few people, but some people do use the default setups, and I want to get that out of the equation for them, especially the cogwheel weapon selector. Yes, it slows down time. However, it's not quick and efficient to get the job done. You really want to do quick switching without having to slow down time and pick a weapon out. See, when you press Q to weapon switch with the cogwheel, it locks your mouse in. So, it breaks your momentum in fights when you try and weapon switch. Now watch when I'm weapon switching without the cogwheel and I'm quick switching. It's not breaking the movement or momentum. I'll show you the difference when we're fighting this marauder. BFG or whatever, we have to move like that across. If we visualize here with the keyboard, right, WASD is right there. Now if we're using 7, 8, and 9, and 0 to switch to, say, ballista, chain gun, BFG or whatever, we have to move like that across the keyboard. That is not quick and efficient. However, if we're binding to Z, X, Q, E, very efficient. You're just switching like that. Now, I'm very aware that this may be elementary for a few people, but some people do use the default setups, and I want to get that out of the equation for them, especially the cogwheel weapon selector. Yes, it slows down time. However, it's not quick and efficient to get the job done. You really want to do quick switching without having to slow down time and pick a weapon out. See, when you press Q to weapon switch with the cogwheel, it locks your mouse in. So, it breaks your momentum in fights when you're trying to weapon switch. Now watch when I'm weapon switching without the cogwheel and I'm quick switching. It's not breaking the movement or momentum. I'll show you the difference when we're fighting this marauder. That's a really good example of why quick switching is really important for efficient combat. So make sure you're doing that if you want to complete Ultra Nightmare. You see how that was much more efficient with the quick switching? Also, just a little tip there with Marauders in general. If you throw in the grenades, well, I didn't do it too efficiently there, but if you throw in the grenades as well, you can get them in like a bit of a stun lock and you can just repeat the super shotgun ballista combo. So if you want to deal with Marauders, super shotgun ballista, whatever order you want to use, and just delete them like that. So what ends up being usually a elongated fight with these guys in big arena fights, you can just isolate, quickly remove out of the equation, and then just deal with the rest. Okay, let's look at some builds. We're going to go from Arsenal Suit, Runes, and then the Crystal Points. Everyone has different methods and builds that they work with. This is my personal build, and I think it really works well for Ultra Nightmare. I've beaten it a couple times now. Let's kick it off with the weapons. So, combat shotgun, sticky bomb straight off the bat at the start of the game is paramount. Full auto uses way too much ammo, and yes, once you've got the mastery, you get the salvo extender, which gives you ammo back. However, I just feel like it leaves you too immobile and vulnerable. I'm a player that likes to keep on the move, and just flicking sticky bomb shots is, you know, it adheres to that playstyle. Precision Bolt's really good, does a lot of damage once you've got the mastery with a headshot. Micro missiles can be really good too, but I find Precision Bolt is something I lean towards more because you can focus fire on weak points, say like the Mancubus turrets and the Revenant shoulder cannons, and make them useless in fights. And with the Chrono Strike rune slowing down time, you can really efficiently deal with weak points on heavy demons and take out their combat efficiency. Micro missiles are still good, but I find, unless you pick up a haste ability, generally speaking, it's something that the rocket launcher can get done for you. I'm still adamant that Heat Blast is the go-to. Microwave Beam, kind of like using full auto, can leave you a little bit immobile. It's good for the lower difficulties and fun, even with that Concussion Blast mastered. Some of these arena fights later in the game, you need to keep moving, and Heat Blast is good for just that. The rocket launcher lock-on burst has been proven to be very meta. Remote detonation is good to pop off rockets around corners and say battle mode, but for this campaign, Ultra Nightmare, on the move, locking on a target like a whiplash with 3 rockets pretty much kills them instantly. So you really want to use this. This is something I save up points for in Cultist Base. So when I pick up the rocket launcher in Cultist Base, I instantly put all my points towards the lock-on burst and the quick lock. From some of those shots now. So when we get up to those fights in Cultist Base, with the whiplashes, you can utilize this quick lock and get them out of the equation very quickly. Hey, it's called the quick lock after all. Fire! The super shotgun. This is something you have to master as soon as you can, because getting the flaming hook with the armor drops after you hook onto enemies is paramount to constantly having your armor points up during fights. It's insane how much armor you can get with this. So as soon as you get the super shotgun, start saving up the points, unlock these, and then master it. I have a tip for getting the mastery as soon as you can without using a mastery token, and that's once you get to the Doom Hunter base, straight after Cultist Base where you acquire the weapon, you can farm low tier zombies that constantly spawn in the fight, leave the Doom Hunter alone and just go in circles, circularies, and meat hook shot all these demons and acquire the points to master the weapon. Then you can just fight the Doom Hunter. He's not too hard to evade. You just got to keep running in a circle and just avoid the fight. It'll take 10 to 15 minutes maybe to do this, but you get the shotgun mastered as quickly as you can, and now you're cooking with gas, and the next fights are going to be a lot easier because when you're taking damage and low on armor, you can just meat hook to anything, shoot it once, and you've got armor dropping for you. The Ballista, Arbalest, Destroyer Blade, I don't focus too much on using the actual mods itself, I just use the gun default. I use a mastery token later found in the game to master the Arbalest because I don't personally utilize it too much, so that's something I don't focus on mastering straight away. It's generally going to be super shotgun, lock-on burst, and possibly the heat blast to master first for me. The chain gun, I used to bounce between mobile turret and energy shield. I find that both have a place, but later in the game, the energy shield can take hits from bosses, and that can save you in a couple fights. So it's actually resourceful to mod up the energy shield. Keep in mind, these tips aren't angled towards 100% run here, so I personally find the Unmaker not that resourceful compared to the BFG, and in my runs of Ultra Nightmare, I tend to avoid the later Slayer gates, which are very risky. High risk, high reward with the points that you gain from these Slayer gates, but considering the Unmaker isn't that worth it in the long run, you don't have to complete the Slayer gates. These suit points, at the start of the game, you're going to want to focus on the fundamentals and then get straight onto the Ice Bomb. I avoid the frag grenade, and then exploration has no purpose. You learn the game, you don't need this. You just learn it, play through it, you won't need this at all. So that gives you a bit of leniency with the points you do gain, and you just focus on the bottom first. The top, the environment, I pick that towards the end of the game once I've upgraded bottom to right here. First of all, you want to get the faster ledge grab because, again, in my playstyle, movement's everything. You don't want to get caught getting hit while you're jumping up and climbing things. It can be very difficult in Cultist. There's a lot of things to climb. And then you're going to want to really hit up that faster weapon switch and mod swap. In some of my recent Ultra Nightmare playthroughs, I've hit up the first 3, skipped the last on fundamentals, and then gone straight for the Ice Bomb damage dealt against a frozen demon. So you avoid doing these first and just go straight for the extra damage. Because if you focus on an enemy like Whiplash straight away, hit up the Ice Bomb, and then just get all that extra mad damage that you can into it, bam, Bob's your uncle, they're delete, they're out of the equation, okay? Then you can finally start working your way up and take the less cooldown and whatnot. So just again, honestly feel like first 3 and then start from bottom to top.
Can I bring them there? We'll find out. We'll find out.
I think it's alright. The runes, after a couple more playthroughs, in my personal opinion, I find some of them to be a little bit redundant. My personal meta now is using air control because I love movement and I love freedom of movement in the air. And with the meat hook, you can do some very cool movement tricks around arena fights and get to the other side. I also like to hover in the air when I use jump pads to shoot down rockets. Without air control, you can kind of get locked into a path. With air control, you can break out of it. Chrono Strike is the first one I picked because it's really helpful in the early game. It's very difficult in taking out weak points, say like the Arachnotrons, which is very abundant on Exaltia. Some of those fights, they really pressure you. Slowing down time can give you a lot of breathing space to target those weak points. Equipment Fiend, getting up your Ice Bomb super fast again is just amazing late game. I select that. So my personal 3 are Chrono Strike, Equipment Fiend, and Air Control. Probably going to ask, what order do you do them in? I go for Chrono Strike first because what I've stated at the start of the game and its difficulty. Then go on to Air Control, and you can get that towards the end of Cultist Base, the second room, and then the third, Equipment Fiend. Fourth, which you'll get before you get to a boss fight, is Saving Throw. So I tend to not even use Savagery and Blood Fuel, which I used to for my speed and movement in fights that I've stated in previous videos. But after playing Ultra Nightmare a few times, I found that a little bit more of a defensive and passive approach is the way to go. And these runes don't fit the bill for that. So with Saving Throw, if you get killed, time will slow down, it'll give you back 1 HP, and you have an opportunity here to recapitulate, get your stuff together, and survive the fight. Saving Throw is really good to switch on just before, say, a boss fight. And what I tend to do is swap out Chrono Strike or Equipment Fiend with Saving Throw. So say you're fighting the Gladiator, you got a second chance there. Once the boss fight is over, you can switch back to whatever rune you put to pasture. With the Sentinel Crystals, I found going from top right to left down with armor and health picks worked for me in Ultra Nightmare. I went from Loot Magnet, Quick Belch, and then Napalm Belch. Later in the game, you can progress through the rest. This was the approach that worked for me. The first 3 levels of the game, Hell on Earth, Exaltia, and Cultist Base, are the most intimidating. The reason being, you don't have all your suit points yet. You don't have all your upgrades and weapons, and it gives you much more to work with in fights. The ice bomb being upgraded can allow you to target enemies like the Mancubus or Revenants, any of the other heavy demons, and focus fire them and get them out of the equation. Some enemies like the Whiplash